everybody, and welcome back to another video. Now, I know some of you won't be able to believe this, but I have just won another Category C Zwift Racing League race. Unbelievable. I didn't expect it, but here we are. Anyway, from last week where Dan won for Team Not Poggy and I came 23rd, there was no way that I even expected this to happen. I didn't plan it at all, and I thought, I've only just started my training, so there's no way that I'm going to have any sort of legs to come anywhere near the front, but here we are. It's happened and I'm super pleased. But let me talk you through it. So we got turf and surf, and the main little thing about this course are the two little bumps towards the end. Apart from that, it's pretty boring, pretty flat. Although I almost got dropped at the start, so I did have to chase back on for a little bit, and that was just me having a little snooze. But unbelievable scenes. So let me talk you through the race. But before I do that, I'm going to talk you through what I've done training-wise this week again for the third week in a row, because I seriously think this is helping me, and hopefully it's helping some of you as well. So you can see the workouts that I've done there. Activation workout, longer session again, couple of rest and recovery in a zone 2 ride. If you want to get into the lower level detail, then invite me as a friend on the Zwift Companion app, and you'll be able to see everything that I do, all the different types of workout. And as I said before, hopefully for some of you this has really helped, but I was absolutely buzzing after this race, and it's just such a good feeling to win one of these. So let's get into it. Now, I do remember doing this particular race when I was Category B last season, and speaking of Category B, guess what also happened after this one? I have been upgraded, so I can't race the last race, which is absolutely fine because it means my fitness is improving. I'm happy to move up categories. It might mean that I'm towards the back of the Bs, but I'm happy to do that. Progression is key for me, and getting back to the Bs was a goal that I had, so really happy about that as well. And I just want to talk a little bit about my nutrition throughout the day as well, leading up to this, because I'm not sure it was brilliant, but it obviously worked because I had some diamond legs towards the end of this race. Now, I normally like to carb up for these type of races, but I actually had this. Breakfast, a little bit of overnight oats, a coffee, lunch, a frozen pizza, Jaffa cakes as an afternoon snack, and then a couple of gels literally just before the race started with some orange juice and some electrolytes. Obviously water throughout the day. That is the meal of champions, and it saw me through this one. I'm not saying that's going to work for you. And it's probably more for me just to remember what I actually had. But I just felt so good. Yeah, not ideal, obviously, but, you know, I just wanted to kind of, you know, I'm a real person. That's the sort of thing that I eat during the day. That's why my friends call me Captain Donut. I do like a pizza, I'll tell you that. Anyway, here we go. We're coming up to the first climb here. We're on the first climb. And my goal was literally not to go off the front at all. Now, I watched some races earlier in the day, and I knew that if a couple went off the front, they were going to get caught on the downhill. So I was fully prepared for that. I knew it was going to be about a 4.5 minute climb-ish. I know there was a little step here, and it was at this point that my legs were feeling really good, and I was actually very surprised at how I was feeling. Heart rate is 168, 169, which is absolutely fine towards the higher end, but it was the fact that my legs felt so good that I was really surprised, and I thought, okay, there is perhaps a very small chance that I might be winning this race. But I still, even at this point, I thought, you know, a top 10 finish would be really good for me. And it's been quite good because no one's really made an attack off the front. I mean, it was never going to go anywhere if someone did. So I've been doing a great job just to draft in this one and save a lot of energy. Now, I said last week that rinsing, repeating when you're sprinting, recovering, that is not my thing. And getting off to a fast start, once again, not my thing. But this race suited how I feel. I don't mind those kind of 5-ish minute climbs. And as long as I don't have to do that over and over and over again, it really does suit me, and I really feel okay. So at this point now, we're just having a chat on Discord, and I think Dan said, make sure to drop your power up as you go through. There's a little loopy bit or a figure 8 bit, as we're gonna see in a second, just to drop your power up there. So I'm just going to do the same as I did last time. We also made a pact as a team that if someone went off the front, no one would chase. We would just let other people try and chase it back. Now, I really thought that Dan, Paul, Pete would perhaps, you know, go for this one. And you can see in a second that our very own Dan does make a move and starts to kind of slip off the front here. I'm sat mid-pack. I mean, I'm sat right at kind of the upper end, the front end of the pack, and the legs were feeling good. The legs were feeling really good. There goes Dan. He's just leading at the moment. I can see Pete's next to me. I think David's next to me as well for Team Not Poggy. And there Dan goes. Someone is going to chase him, and I think probably winning last week for Dan, he was always going to be marked a little bit more. But I'm just going to follow any moves. So I just follow the pack here, and Dan is eventually brought back. I think that was a decision from Dan not to go on there because he was being followed and he didn't really have a gap. Now you can see coming up on the mini-map here, we've got the figure 8 that's just coming up, and you'll see a few people just start to drop their power-ups. And I'm just waiting really. I'm going to play it by ear. In my head, I was just thinking, we'll just see what happens. I'm not going to chase that down. I'll just let other people do that. And then I was really waiting for a little bit of a quieter point where I could potentially just see where I was at. Heart rate's at 173, so that is at the higher end for me, but I really wasn't feeling terrible still. I really don't understand why. I mean, the training has obviously helped. I'm much fitter than I was at the start of this season, which is great. But you can see here my feather's just about to run out, but the field is just coming to a little standstill. So it was at this point I thought, right, put a little tiny effort in. Don't stand up. I was still sat down on the bike, but just edge away on the power and just see if you can get a couple of seconds gap, maybe a 1 or 2 second gap, and see basically if anyone reacts. Now my heart rate's at 176, so for me that is very high. My max heart rate's about 184, 183, and I've not hit that for a long time. So being at 178, doing close to 400 watts here, I'm struggling a bit. It is now that I'm thinking, was that the right choice? Should I have just waited and gone with my sprint? But there's still quite a large pack behind, so it is literally now or never. And thankfully the team on Discord were really giving me some great encouragement, telling me to go. I think it was at this point in this little bit here where Pete said, come on, stand up and sprint. So I put down a little bit of an effort there, and I've got 3 seconds, and 3 seconds isn't a lot, but I'm really doing my best to hold them off. 320 watts, 300 plus watts. Look at my heart rate, 181, and it's been like that for about a minute. And I can see the finishing line is only 0.2 miles, and they have given up. And I've got a 6-second lead with about 400 foot to go. But they are sprinting. And I'm thinking there is still a chance. No, I wasn't. I was already celebrating. And here we go. We crossed the line for a first place, a second victory in the Zwift Racing League. Completely unexpected, but I will absolutely take it. The team did amazing. Dan finished, I think, 5th, and David maybe 4th, something like that. Here we go. We got some really great points as a team. It was a fantastic team effort again. As you can see, we moved up into 3rd place into the actual league. We won on the day. Please consider a like, drop me a comment. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.